folks. We're going to begin sitting down today, so you can have a sit down on your mat to start with. So while everyone just takes a moment to get logged in and set themselves up and just make sure they can see and hear, you can just come down onto the floor on your mat. So just take your time to come onto the ground and just come into a seated position. So either with your legs out in front or your legs to the side or your legs crossed, whatever feels most comfortable and best for you. I'm going to start with my legs crossed simply because just that's where I find it most comfortable to sit, but feel free just to have your legs and feet out in front if that feels better for you. Okay, right, so I'm Jenny, for those of you that are new to the kind of Made Up Centre Pilates classes. As we've been doing this for a few weeks now, and as I've said before, I will expect you to have some knowledge of Pilates and some knowledge of the kind of alignment and positions that we're trying to get into. So please, if you are a beginner, just be sensible. I would recommend you to have a little bit of knowledge before. Let's get going without any further ado. So just sit nice and tall and just take a moment just to rest your hands on your legs or your knees, whatever again feels comfortable. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears and just lift yourself up nice and tall and strong. Just close your eyes just for a moment. Relax across your shoulders. Release through the back of your neck and upper part of your spine. And take a few wide and deep breaths here. Then reopen your eyes. Drop your chin towards your chest and look up and straight forwards. Turn and look over your shoulder and then turn and look the other way. Come back to the middle and do the same again. Drop your chin towards your chest. Look back up and straight forwards. Turn and look over the shoulder. Hopefully you're still sat nice and upright, right? And look the other way. And come back to the middle. All right. Bring your legs out in front this time if they're not already there. And then again, sit yourself up nice and tall. Just turn to one side, so bring your hand over towards the opposite knee and just twist and turn to one side. So just loosening across the back and the spine and just mobilizing a little bit. Round you come the other way. So just do the same thing in the other direction. Just turn and rotate. Bring everything back to the middle and re-lift nice and tall. Then I want you just to reach down and over to one side and then to the other. So just move one way and then the other. So reach and then other way, one side, then the other. Good. And come back to the center. Extend your legs out straight in front. So stretch your legs ahead of you and then lift your toes up. So point your toes up towards the ceiling. And then again, re-lift through your spine, extend and reach your arms up and overhead, and then fold and reach towards your feet. Bring the hands up along your thighs and your legs, and then lift up again and fold forwards. Good. Let your neck relax a little bit, and then come up again. We'll do that 2 more times. Reach and lift, and then fold and roll forwards. Up you come one last time. Reach and lift carefully and with control. Reach forwards. And back you come. Okay, from here, I want you just to lift one heel at a time. So a little bit harder work this time. Lift up through your torso. So try and sit up onto your sit bones. Lengthen through your body. So don't slouch and slump back, but lift up nice and tall. And then lift one heel and then the other. The movement's going to be really tiny. So don't worry about trying to lift your leg up any particular great height. Just carefully lift up one leg and then the other. The movement is minor. Good. Last couple. How's your legs? Last one. And rest there. Bend your knees. I'm going to turn to the side in a moment. Bend your knees up and bring your feet a little bit closer. And then just curl that tailbone under and hinge back just a few inches and lift back up again. So curl your tailbone under and lift up. So small movement and back, and then lift yourself up to that tall seated position. And just move back and forth in your own time, just not going too far just now. We'll do 2 more here. Final one. And lift. Okay, so this time we're going to hinge back and we're going to reach to one side and then reach to the other and then come back up. So I'll show you from the side and the front. So hinge back, hands just by your knees, and then reach to one side and back to the centre, and reach to the other and back to the centre, and lift up. Same again, roll back, open wide, back in, open wide, back in, and rise. We're going to lift our hands up the way this time. So hinge back, one arm up, good, and then the other arm up, good, and up you come. Same again, roll back and hold, reach up and back down, reach up and back down, and up you come. Both hands up together this time, so roll back and hold, lift up with the arms, don't go too far, and come back down. Lift yourself up, curl that tailbone under, hinge back, both arms come up, both arms come down, and rise. One last time, curl that tailbone under, hold, reach, lift, and come back up. Stay sitting nice and tall. Just take a little turn and twist to one side, and then the other side, and then back in. Okay, this time we're going to move our legs, not our arms. So we're going to hinge back, show you from the side this time. You're going to straighten one leg, put the heel back down, straighten the other leg, put the heel back down, and lift up. If you feel it in your hip flexors, just don't go back too far. So, starting with the knees just comfortably bent, curl that tailbone under, hinge back and hold where it's just a slightly challenging but not too much strain on your hips. And then straighten and back down, straighten and heel back down and lift up. We'll repeat that movement. So curl that tailbone under, hold for a moment, reach and down, reach and back down and lift up. Once more. Back you go, hold, relax the shoulders, reach, and up you come. Okay, straighten the legs out this time, and we're going to roll back with our legs straight out in front. So just extend your legs out straight, going to move forward a bit, and then roll yourself back and lift yourself up. Don't go too far for the first ones, we're just still warming up and just moving a little bit more. So roll yourself back and lift yourself up. Curl that tailbone under and then lift yourself up. Now, try and sit a little bit more upright when you come up this time. So lift yourself up a little bit more. Roll yourself back and lift yourself up. How's your hips? Roll yourself back and lift yourself up. So we're gradually going a little bit lower as we get a little bit more familiar with the move and get a feel for where we can go and what our range of movement is. We're going to do 2 more after this. Sit nice and tall, then slump back, tuck that tailbone under, and then roll and lift. Re-lengthen through your spine, re-lift through your back, and then one last time. And up you come. Okay, just bend your knees up again and come to the, make sure that your top of your mat and your knees are bent and your feet are flat down in front. Okay, from this position, you're going to tuck your tailbone under and hinge back. This time we're going to extend opposite arm and leg, place the heel back down, opposite arm and leg, heel back down, and then we lift up. So we're going to do it fairly slowly. We're going to stay in that decline position just for a touch longer, so a little bit more challenging. Knees comfortably bent, curl that tailbone under, hinge back and just hold where it's challenging. One arm and opposite leg, reach and back down. Other arm and the other leg and back down. We good? Lift back up nice and tall. We'll repeat that twice more. Curl that tailbone under, hold, reach and back down, reach, and back down, and up you come. Once more to go. Curl that tailbone under, hold, out, and back in, out, and back in, and lift back up. Just roll back and just give your legs a hug in, and extend your legs out, and just take a full body stretch just to release through your hips and your hip flexors just for a moment, because we're going to do a couple more things from that seated position in that C-curve position. So take your time, bring yourself back up. So this time we're going to hinge back and hold. You're going to bring your knee in and back down, knee in and back down. So I'll show you from the front as well actually. So you're going to hinge back, arms and legs are out, and everything's going to come in, everything goes back. So knee and chest come towards each other, and then extend. So it's knee drive in and back away, in and back away. Kirsten's giving me a worried look. You're fine. Okay, we're going to do one each side and then lift up in between. So starting nice and tall, curl that tailbone under, extend back, arms in front. Now the knee comes in and bend the elbows in. Reach and extend again. Everything comes in and everything goes out. Lift yourself back up. We're going to repeat that again. Curl your tailbone under, arms and legs open. Pull them in and back out. Bend your elbows in and back out. And lift back up. How are we doing? We okay? Last time. Open, pull in, extend, draw in, extend, and rise. We okay? Good stuff. Okay. Again, we've done this one before. We're going to one where we reach to the back corner of our mat. So we'll do this one at your own pace and do it at your own time. I'll show you the move and then just feel free to join in as and when you're ready. So you're going to hinge back, reach towards the back corner of your mat, and then lift back up. Then reach towards the other corner and lift back up. So feel free to join in when you feel you know what the move is and you're happy with what you're doing. So lift up, reach, and rise. Back you go and reach, and then lift up. Back and reach, and lift up. We're going to do one more on each side. Last one, and lift up. Okay. Extend your legs out in front, and then just take your time. We're going to do some full roll backs with our legs straight. So just do what you can with this one and go back as far as you feel that you're able. So again, I'll show you and then just join in as and when you feel comfortable to do so. So you're going to roll back, and you've got to get back up again without using your legs and your arms to throw you back up. So roll yourself down and then lift yourself back up. So make it a little bit harder. You can lie all the way down, but you have got to get back up again. So tuck your chin in towards your chest and bring yourself back up without using your shoulders and your legs to propel you back up. So just in your own time, roll back as far as you feel able. Oh, I cheated a little bit in that one. So relax the legs, relax the shoulders. The strength is in your core and your abdominals to bring you back up. I'm not making it look as easy as I'm meant to. I apologise. Lie down, tuck your chin in, roll and lift yourself up. We're going to do one more. You don't have to lie all the way down, remember, you can stop here. Last one, lie down or roll back and lift up. Okay, just bend your knees in, so your knees are drifted out to the side, and just take a little stretch through your hips and just try and let your knees drop down to the side. Use your hands on your shins or push up by the side of you to bring yourself a little bit straighter. So just opening through your hips and lifting up nice and tall. Either hands behind you to lift you or hands on your shins to pull you up and lift you up a little bit straighter. Make sure that tummy's drawn in so you're keeping good posture as you lift and stretch through the hips. Okay, you're going to put your feet out a little bit wider than your mat. So if you guys are facing forwards, where your feet should be a little bit wider than your mat. We're going to do a reach and a soar, this one's called. So I'll show you, and then again, just join in as and when you feel you've got a hang of what the move is. So lift up nice and tall. You're going to take one hand towards the opposite foot. So if my left foot is out, I'm going to reach my right hand towards it. So lift, and I'm going to reach. So my fingertips are going to go towards my toes, and the other arm extends behind. Lift up, and then do the same thing on the other side. So reach, and up you come. If you're a little bit more flexible, you can reach across. So my little finger can go towards my little toe and back up. Or, if you're not that flexible, you can reach towards your knee. Okay? So lift up and reach forwards. And if you're much more flexible than I, which would not be a great surprise to anyone, you can reach past your foot and past your toe. Now, try and keep your butt on the ground though. So try not to lift your hips off the floor, but try and keep your bottom on the ground, tailbone on the ground as you move back and forth, up and down. Lift and reach, lift up and reach. Final one each side. Good. Extend and back up. Okay, bring the legs back towards each other, and we are going to lie down on our mat now. So I'm going to turn back round to the side and just make sure there's some space behind you, and carefully roll back onto your mat. We're going to come up into shoulder bridge next, so it gets a little bit of a stretch through our hip flexors as well. So your feet and knees are hip width apart. Your feet are an even and equal distance away from your bum. So make sure you've not got one foot further forward than the other, but your feet are at a fairly even distance. I always struggle to get that one right. So feet an even distance. Now then, we're going to start with a partial shoulder bridge. So basically, we're going to roll the lower few vertebrae off our mat and back down. So really important, imagine you're tucking your tailbone in, just tilting your pelvis and rolling the lower few vertebrae off the floor and then pushing them back down. I'm just going to lift my hands so you can see. And back down. Have your hands rested by your side though once you see what's happening, and just nice and smoothly roll the lower part of your back up and then push your hips away at the bottom. So push your hips towards your knees at the bottom of that movement. So roll up and then gently push those hips towards your knees. So just moving through that lower part of your back. Good. Okay, last one. Nice, okay, just a good bit of mobilization through the lower part of our spine. We're going to come all the way up into a full bridge this time, and we're going to hold at the top, and we're going to stay there for a little bit longer than we normally do. So feet grounded, imagine you're being pulled up from your belly button, gently push into the legs as you roll and lift yourself up. So now you're up, stay here, arms are rested by your side, knees are hip width apart, hips are high, knees, hips and shoulders are roughly all in line. Try not to overextend and push those hips up too far, but just try and hold in that lifted bridge position. Glutes are working as well, abdominals are holding you up, of course your legs are working a little bit as well. Now carefully and slowly roll each vertebrae back down to the mat again. Rest for a moment down here, and we're going to lift up and hold just as we did before. So feet are spread, curl that tailbone in and then roll and lift each vertebrae off the mat until you come into that high position. Hips are up, knees and hips and shoulders in line. Squeeze that tummy, squeeze your glutes, try and hold everything really steady here, still through your hips, still through your shoulders. And slowly roll back down. We're going to do one more time with that lift and that held position. Take a breath.
lift yourself up, hold, stay here, hips high, control your breath, keep that tummy lifted, keep your hips in that elevated position, squeeze your glutes a tiny bit, breathe, and then carefully roll back down. Okay, this time I want you to cross your right foot over your left knee, and we're going to try a single leg bridge, but with this leg supported, so it's a little bit easier than having the leg floating. So cross one ankle over the other knee, or just slightly below the knee, and then you're going to lift up and down, just same shoulder bridge action, but obviously you're only using one foot on the ground, the other foot is up in the air. So have a go in your own time, or your own pace. So lift yourself up and slowly back down. Now, once you're up, try and keep the hips fairly level. So it's tempting to let the other one drop down and the knee drop down. So once you're up in bridge with this one leg position, try and have those hip bones fairly even. If you find this super awkward, you can just do it with one leg here if that feels better for you. One more time on this side. And then we've got to do the other side. So you'll find that the leg that's on the ground is obviously doing a lot more work because it's doing the supporting. So when you're ready, just repeat that same single leg bridge, but on the other side. And remember, we're all a little bit uneven, some more so than others. So you'll find one side is stronger than the other, one side is more flexible than the other. Some of us are just a bit wonky, so one side just isn't quite where it's meant to be. And you've got a few more to do here. So gently press into the foot. Remember to try and keep those hips level. Try and wobble a little bit less than I am. This is clearly my weak side, or my more weak side. Make this your last one. And down you come. Okay, back to both feet being on the mat. You're going to go back to both legs on the ground. Once you're up in bridge, you're going to take both arms overhead, sweep the arms by to your side, and then roll back down. So join in again when you're ready and you've got a hang of what we're doing. So feet down, knees bent, roll and lift up into bridge. Take both arms overhead, sweep the arms round and to your side, rest them there, then place your back down, one vertebra at a time. Pause at the bottom of the movement and then roll up and repeat. So lift into bridge, carry the arms straight back, sweep the arms round the side, roll yourself back down. We'll do two more. Roll and rise, arms go over, arms sweep, leave the arms rested, roll back down. Here's your final one now. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your abs as you rise up. Take both hands straight back. Once your thumbs hit the ground, sweep the arms carefully around to the side, and then roll back down to the mat. Now, hug both knees into your chest and just give your back a little roll round and side to side. Is it raining? Sounds like it's raining. Just last Thursday we were out in the baking sunshine. Place your legs far away from you and reach nice and long. So feet just slightly widen your hips and reach your arms overhead. It's definitely raining. Okay, right. I've got distracted by the rain. Okay, legs, leave them extended. We're going to lift one leg at a time. So legs stretched out, back on the ground, hip bones facing up towards the ceiling, arms just rested by your side, and let's engage those abdominals if you've not automatically done that. So imagine you're tightening that belt, squeeze your belly button towards your spine, hold your hips and back in that neutral or natural position for your spine, and then simply lift one leg up and then swap the other side. So nice and simple, single leg lift and slowly back down. As you lift that leg, try and keep your hips pretty steady. Try and keep everything really still. Hold your hips in that neutral position as you move your legs up and down. So nice and controlled, rise and back down. You can vary the height that you lift your leg, just so that you're still keeping that neutral position through your back. So you can only go a little way if you'd rather. You can lift a bit further if you can stop your hips from rolling back as you do that. And just make your next one each side your last ones. So final one on this second side. And rest there. Okay, this time you're going to lift that leg up. You're going to take it to the side, back in and down. I'll show you from the front as well, so it's hopefully easier to see. So you come one leg up, you take it to the side, you come back in and down. Leave your head down, sorry. So the first movement is up. Don't let your hips rock and don't let your hips tip to the side. Keep the hips steady as you come in and back down. So just as and when you're ready, you can continue with that movement. So you go up, go to the side, come back in and down. So straight up, straight out, in and back down. And just keep alternating left and right sides so that you work on both sides of your body. It's really important that we try and make our exercises even in Pilates so that we work both the right and left sides of our bodies the same amount, just to try and build strength evenly across our bodies. You're going to do a few more here though. Keep going. So nice and slow and controlled. Lift, open, in and down. So lift that leg up, slowly to the side, control back to the centre and heel back to the mat. Lift up, steady, centre and down, and make your next one's your last one. Open, close, in and down. And last one on the other side. Okay, rest there. All right, this time we're going to coordinate the arms as well. So we're going to still lift the leg, but we're going to raise an arm as well. And I'll show you, and then again, just join in as and when you feel that you're able to see what's happening. So, say my left leg lifts and my right arm goes overhead. I want you to try and get your hand to touch the floor behind you, and then try and bring your arm and leg back down. So the heel and the hand land at the same time. So a little bit more challenging to control the leg and the arm, because they're moving slightly different distances, obviously. Your hand's going back and the leg's going there. And I would like the heel and the hand to touch back down at the same time. Easier said than done. So rise and slowly back down. So you've got to control the movement. You've got to control the pace of the hand and the foot, so they're moving smoothly up and smoothly back down. And just keep switching side to side so that one arm and the opposite leg go over and up, and then you switch and do the other arm and the other opposite leg. Good. Nice and controlled. Remember, keep that tummy button drawn in, keep your back in neutral. Don't let your back be lifting and rising and moving as you're moving the arms and the legs. We're going to do a couple more here. So lift up and slowly back down. So make the next one on each side your final ones for this exercise. So this will be the last one on the other side. And slowly back down. Good stuff. Okay. Arms just still rested by your side, legs extended. One last thing with straight legs, a little bit more challenging. Again, we have done this one before, but it is a little bit tougher. we're going to lift one leg off the floor, just a short distance, don't go too high, and then you're going to try and extend and try and lift the second heel off the floor. So first leg comes up and it holds. Then you're going to try and lift this second leg, so that the leg that's on the ground, send a message from your brain to your leg to try and lift it. Now, don't lift it very high. Like my calf muscle hasn't even really left the ground, but my abdominals and core muscles are going to work really hard to support my back and my torso as that second leg lifts. We'll do this one together. If you don't lift the heel, that's fine. Just send a message to lift it and your core will kick in, I can assure you. Take a breath. Right leg lifts and hold. Now, try and lift the left heel and back down. Clearly I can't talk and do it at the same time. Swap sides. Left leg lifts. Hold it up there. Right leg lifts and back down. Try not to hold your breath. Here we go. Lift that right leg up, hold. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lift that left heel, and down you come. And again, left leg lifts. Breathe in, breathe out as you lift, and down. One last time on each side. Right leg up and hold. Breathe in, breathe out and lift the heel. Down and down. One more. Left leg up and hold. Breath in, breath out and lift the other heel, and bring everything back down. I need to work on not holding my breath. Relax the shoulders, bend your knees in, and just rest here for a moment. We're going to come into neutral now, just for a second, and we're going to do some roll-ups just to move ourselves. So, hips in as close to neutral as you can manage to find. Tuck your chin in slightly, bring your hands onto your thighs, and roll and lift up, and then roll back down. So lift yourself up and back down. Fingertips towards your knees, and then control that movement back down to the mat. So this is a roll up. Done this exercise lots of times before. Just tuck your chin in just slightly so that your neck is comfortable but supported. And just do two more here. Last one. Cool. Okay, we're going to do some of our heel slides. We're going to go straight in to using the other arm as well. So just kind of progressing things just to go onto a slightly harder option straight away. So before you do anything, make sure you're in neutral. Now we've got our knees in this bent position with our feet flat on the floor. And we're going to move one leg and that opposite arm. So it's a basic heel slide with the other arm sweeping overhead. So out and back in. Keep those hips in neutral as you move the arms and legs. Now if you do find it too much and not good for your back to be moving arms and legs, then of course you can just move one leg at a time. That's absolutely fine. You can take out the arm movement and just do the legs if you prefer. Last couple each side. And so this will be your final one on this move and back in. Okay, we're going to do that same exercise and we're going to try and move that into a more flowing back and forth motion. So I'll show you and then you can join in if you see that this is suitable for you. So you're going to go out and in, opposite arm and leg flowing back and forth. If that feels too much, just repeat the previous exercise and still just do one leg at a time, leaving one foot down. So, so those folks that feel able to, just reach one leg out and the opposite arm goes overhead, and just try and smoothly move from one side to the other. Extend and back. So arms and legs are flowing back and forth, and your torso is staying nice and controlled. Hold that position through your body as you move back and forward. Leave your head down. I sometimes sometimes just lift my head up to check I can see what is going on around me. Good. Last couple. Final one. Good stuff. Hug those knees into your chest and just give yourself a little hug. And just move again, just wherever feels comfortable for you. And then again, take a full body stretch again, so arms and legs open and extended. Okay, back into tabletop. So haven't done this one yet today, but hopefully is familiar for most of you. Feet down to begin with, hips in neutral before we move up into that tabletop position. So tailbone on the ground, back in that neutral position, just that natural curve through your spine, and then one leg up to tabletop, and then the other leg comes to join it. So knees above hips. You're then going to do a single leg stretch, so push that leg away and then come back to the middle. So out and back in. So your thighs are roughly vertical and your shins are roughly horizontal. Don't panic too much, just as best as you can manage. Tailbone is anchored on the mat, and then open and close, and open and close. So again, in your own time, just slow and control, move the legs back and forth, move the legs in and out. Continue with this. I'm going to show you a modification. So your option, if you find that tabletop and those both legs up in the air is a wee bit too much for you, then you can of course do all these leg exercises with your legs down, that's fine. So those that are up in tabletop, just continue here. Those that are leaving one foot down, that's fine as well. Just do a few more repetitions for me, whichever version you are currently doing. So just try and do 2 more on each leg. Keep that tailbone anchored, keep that tummy squeezed in, keep your back in neutral, and make this your final one. Good. Okay. Right. We're going to add the arm as well. So we're going to come back into tabletop with the legs, and we're going to reach the arms up and straight ahead of us. So in neutral, and then one leg lifts, and then the other. So we come into that set-up position, reach the arms straight up, so your fingertips are pointing towards the sky, and the hands are just roughly shoulder width apart. We're going to stretch with one leg, and the opposite arm goes back, and then come back to that starting or set-up position. So open, and then close, so out, and back in. So try and leave the hand that's not moving still. That's easier said than done. So open and back. So out and back in. Nice and controlled. Away and back. Open and close. Keep everything really steady. Out and back in. Move away and back. So move everything out and come back in. Move everything out and back in. Last one each side. So out and in. Final one. Open and close. Okay. Again, give your back a little stretch. Sometimes I like to move my knees round as well, just whatever feels good for you. Okay. We are going to roll round onto our fronts and do a little bit of work in that prone bridge or plank position. So take your time to roll yourself round and come onto your plank position or that prone bridge. What we're going to do from here is come out onto our hands and onto our knees. So I want you to just reposition yourself so your hands are beneath your shoulders and your knees are slightly back from your hips. And just hold that prone bridge or plank position from your knees just now. Okay, and then push and sit back. Stretch into child's pose. And we're going to
forwards again. Hands out. Come into that prone bridge. Now tuck those toes underneath. We're going to rise up onto our feet. So push up on the backs of the knees and straighten through the legs as we lift up into that full prone bridge or plank, whichever you prefer to call it. Now squeeze that tummy up and in. Eyes are looking forward towards the top end of your mat. Now bring your knees back down. And again, push back and stretch. We're going to do that one last time. So bring the hands forwards, onto the hands and knees. Tuck the toes under. Squeeze that tummy in towards your back. Straighten out through the legs. Lift up and hold into that lifted position. Relax the shoulders. Squeeze your abdominals. Hold everything really steady. Gonna stay here for a moment or two longer. Don't move. And now carefully come back down and sit back and stretch. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of work on all fours for the last few minutes of today's session. Right. So, onto your hands and knees in that all fours or 4-point or box position. So your hands are beneath your shoulders, your knees are roughly beneath your hips. Now make sure you lift and squeeze your belly button in towards your back before we start to move the arms and legs. We're going to start with legs only. Squeeze your tummy up and in, and then press your right leg back, and then bring it back under. So push one leg away, and then come back underneath again. So holding that all fours position, squeeze that tummy in, push, and back under. Squeeze that tummy in, push, and back under. We're going to do a couple more like this, then we are going to add the other arm. So one more here. Now if you feel that you're balanced and strong enough, you can reach one arm and the opposite leg. So you're going to reach out with the arm and the leg, and then come back under. Try and keep everything really still. Quite aware I was wobbling quite a bit on that one. So out and back under. Push arm and leg away and come back. One more time. And back in. We're going to try and do a held position this time. So we're going to do the same movement, but you're going to reach and hold with the arm and leg in that lifted and extended position. Doesn't matter which side you start on. So squeeze your tummy in towards your back, reach and hold. So fingertips reaching forward, leg extending backwards, and hold that reaching position. Bring everything back in and swap sides. So draw that tummy in, open and reach one arm and the opposite leg. Hold in that extended position and then come back under. This time we're going to flow back and forth. So you're going to go out and in and out and in. So on one side, on the first side we just did, sorry. So out and back in. So join in as and when you can. So one arm and the opposite leg are flowing smoothly back and forth, out and in, out and in. Last one. And rest. Switch sides again, so onto that second side. Arm and leg out, hand and knee in. So nice and smoothly back and forth. Reaching and coming under. Reaching and pushing back and coming under. Final one. And the last thing on all fours, I'll show you from the front this time. So on your hands and knees again, reach out, this time to the side and back in. And again, we're going to do a few repetitions. So from your hands and knees, squeeze that tummy in, reach, open and close, open and close. And again, just try and stay as steady as you can as you move one way then the other. Last one. And back in. And last move, same on the other side. Draw your abdominals in, reach out and away, hold that balance, and then to the side and back in. So don't worry again if you've got one side that feels a little bit more unbalanced or a little bit more wobbly than the other. That's absolutely normal. Just focus really hard on trying to stay as stable as you can. And again, this is your last one. Open and close. Push yourself back, bring your knees apart and your feet together as you sit back and stretch in child's pose. And then carefully bring yourself back up. Just come back to where we started. So sit yourself on your mat, either with your legs in front somewhere or with your legs crossed, just whichever, again, feels most comfortable for you. Place your hands on your legs or your knees to lift yourself up. Open across the shoulders, draw your tummy in, long through the back of your neck, and then relax. We're going to lift up again, so take a breath, but then don't hold your breath, keep breathing. Relax your shoulders, and release. One last time. Sit yourself up nice and tall, squeeze that tummy in, release those shoulders. Breathe, and relax. Okay, I've let you stay on the ground the whole time today. So you're going to have to come back up super slow. So I'm going to leave you now, but take your time because you've been on the ground the whole time. Carefully come back up to standing. Have a great day. See you next week.